I'm making a mocktail this evening that is, I think, a more common mocktail. So we'll be making a Paloma. So a Paloma is based in grapefruit, and I'll be sharing some really fun nutritional food for thought information about grapefruit as I'm sort of moving through. We'll also talk about how you can substitute grapefruit for those that may be on a medication where there's an interaction, because as much as we love grapefruit, sometimes it's just that sticky food that interacts with some of our medications, and we want to make sure that you are ingesting it safely. So we'll talk about that once we get through, but let's make our mocktail. So I have it here. Where is my, I should have been a weather person. There's my mocktail there that I'll be making a second one. And I point that out because remember, mocktails can be made in your favorite glass, right? So I have mine here in my favorite Unite for Her glass, but I'm also going to be using this fun little margarita glass. So grab that beautiful glass that you love, because we still want our mocktails to feel special and tasty, and we want the presentation to be on point. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to do is rim our glass. So you could use any sort of liquid that you want, even if you just want to use a little bit of water. I will be rimming it using my grapefruit here. So I'll just take this around the outside. And then what I'm using is a little mixture here of some salt and sugar. So it just gives a little bit of salty sweet. And I love the color because it complements the white and the orange. If you can see, that kind of complements really nicely the color of the beverage. So we've got that started. I'm going to grab some ice, because what you'll need is just any sort of mixing vessel. So there's no shaking, there's no jostling, any kind of spoon and a mixer is what you'll be using. So I'll be grabbing some ice because we want to chill this. This is one of my favorite mocktails to make. So we want some good ice in here. Oops. All right, let's start off with some fresh lemon juice, because we love those fresh ingredients. So this recipe calls for 1 ounce of lemon juice, which is generally about half of a lemon. If your lemon is really dry, maybe it's been hanging around for a while, squeeze both halves. So we have 1 ounce of lemon. Now we have fresh grapefruit juice. So you could absolutely squeeze grapefruits. Mine are a little bit large for mine, so I'm just using some freshly squeezed from the grocery store. So we want 2 ounces of this. So this is 1.5. So let's talk about the benefits of grapefruit, because they are a lot. If you didn't know, grapefruit actually originates from Barbados. And it's a combination of an orange citrus and a pomelo. So if you're familiar with that large citrus fruit, a pomelo, it really does look like a beautiful combination of the two. And like a lot of our citrus, it's a wonderful source of fiber, which is really, really important for so many reasons. So I like pointing this out because February is also Heart Month, right? And fiber is so good for our heart because it helps us with regulating blood pressure. It also helps with lowering cholesterol, getting fiber from a lot of our different plant foods, because remember, fiber only comes from our plants. So that helps with lowering cholesterol. So incorporating grapefruit can be a wonderful addition for a heart healthy choice. In addition, we know fiber is just really good for gut health as well. So all of that fiber helps feed the healthy bacteria. So we create a nice, healthy microbiome, which helps with reducing inflammation. So again, fiber that we can get from any of our plant foods, including our citrus, is a really wonderful addition. So number one, we love it for fiber. Our next ingredient, before I jump on the second really wonderful nutrient that can be found in grapefruit, probably most of us know here, I will be adding a little bit of simple syrup because we have some tart, we have a little bit of sweetness from the grapefruit, but I'm using just a little bit of a simple syrup just to add a little more sweetness. This calls for 1 ounce of that. And I'll put, oh, nope, I'll grab my spoon and then we're just gonna stir this. We want it to chill really well. So while I stir, let's talk about vitamin C, right? Because when we think of citrus, we think of vitamin C. Grapefruit is packed with vitamin C. In fact, just one medium grapefruit, so not even those large ones that we see, but you can see sort of the half of what this size is, gives us all of our daily needs of vitamin C. We think of vitamin C for immunity. Of course, it supports our immune system, but vitamin C is also really important with absorbing both calcium and iron. So for those, when we connect with you about how we can support your bone health, whether you're in a situation where you have some bone degradation, osteopenia, osteoporosis. We often talk about calcium, but I like to say, make sure you're getting that vitamin C because it boosts our body's ability to absorb calcium as well as iron. So vitamin C is a really wonderful helper nutrient. In addition, vitamin C is actually really important for wound healing. It plays a very important role at the cellular level. So anyone that not only has had recently surgery, but for anyone that may have had, for instance, radiation, where we're seeing some skin alterations, we think of wound healing. And so making sure that you are incorporating vitamin C foods so that we promote good skin healing and tissue regrowth, right? You don't have to go crazy with quantities, but just incorporating throughout your day is a really wonderful addition. So vitamin C is super important. Let's strain our drink. So into our beautiful glass, let's strain. Let's try, there we go. Oh, beautiful. And don't panic if it doesn't fit all of it, because we're going to top it with a little bit of soda water or club soda for a little bit of bubbles. The last nutrient I want to call out about grapefruit is actually vitamin A. And this is unique solely to grapefruit. You don't find all of this beautiful vitamin A in our other citrus, our lemons, our limes, our oranges. Again, one medium grapefruit provides 100% of our vitamin A needs, which is crazy because it's like a wonderful source. Beta carotene, a precursor to vitamin A, really, really nutrient dense. So again, another reason to enjoy this mocktail, to incorporate grapefruit in your snacks as part of your meals or breakfast. Now, here's the caveat. Grapefruit's a funny food because, like I said, it does interact with some of our medications. So most of us may know that grapefruit interacts with statins. So some of our heart medications, think atorvastatin, lovastatin, and simvastatin. So those are your generic names that you really should be avoiding grapefruit if you take any of those. In addition, our hormone medication, so tamoxifen and our aromatase inhibitors does interact with grapefruit, and Ibrance. So unfortunately, if that is a medication that one of our members here is on, we want to be avoiding grapefruit. But the benefit of this is you can swap this out with something like the varying oranges that we're seeing right now in season, right? So maybe we're using some fresh Sumo orange juice from the Sumo oranges that we see, or just your favorite navel orange, or all of the beautiful pink oranges that we're seeing. So other citrus that we know doesn't have that interaction, you're perfectly safe to create a really wonderful mocktail. So really important food safety. And of course, if you ever question whether or not you're on a medication that may have a food drug interaction, remember your best friend is your pharmacist. This is what they do. So if you ever want to just double check, making sure that everything is okay, ask your pharmacist and they can very happily confirm that for you. So we are finishing up by garnishing with a little squeeze of grapefruit. And here we have it. This is our beautiful, really lovely mocktail. Oops, let's take a sip. Let's spill and take a sip. Oh my gosh, that is delicious. Yes, you will love that. It has the tiniest punch of tartness a little bit from the citrus, but it really balances out nicely with the simple syrup and even with a little splash of sparkling. So we love that. So cheers to all of you. Happy conversation about dating and cancer tonight, because we're going to get into some really good information with Sabitha. Cheers to Sabitha, our favorite Unite for Her advisor on this topic. And I will happily post all of those ingredients in the chat for you. They will be on our blog. But if you know that you have these ingredients nearby or you want to play with them yourself, maybe you're whipping this up on your own, and then we'd love to see your cheersing on our social media. So cheers to you. And let's get to the main show.
Yeah, I have a couple questions for you though. Hold, not too fast there, Erin, not too fast. So
Okay.
first of all, yes, I agree, Amy. Erin's knowledge is incredible on nutrition and she just teaches me every day. So I'm fortunate to be next to her as a colleague. We did have one, why do they recommend avoiding citrus when getting radiation? Do you know about that, Erin? Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that. And so I think there's a little bit of confusion with avoiding citrus. So that recommendation usually comes from a place of really pointing out antioxidants and how they could potentially affect radiation. So I should say that even that interaction hasn't really been clearly proven with science and data, but the theory is that radiation produces, by nature of radiation being what it does, produces free radicals. Vitamin C, high in citrus, is an antioxidant. Its job is to fight free radicals. So that recommendation usually stems from the conservative viewpoint of let's sort of minimize any sort of anything that could potentially not allow radiation to do its job to full capacity. Here's what I normally say. Yes, if you take any sort of supplement of vitamin C, high dose antioxidants, you do want to stop that during radiation. But it is perfectly safe to consume citrus in normal amounts from whole food sources. The risk of it impacting radiation at all or to any degree that it would not benefit a patient is pretty slim to none. So that's kind of where that theory comes from. But again, you can feel perfectly safe about incorporating these fruits among your other fruits in whole food form.